All right. Hello, everyone. I am Natalie, and it's really my pleasure to welcome you to this training. We're going to be talking about why success remains a dream for most entrepreneurs. And really, I want to be pulling back the curtain on why so many entrepreneurs get so little traction in their business, even when they know all the marketing tactics and strategies, even when they're working their butts off. It's just something that's a little bit weird. This is something that I was inspired to do on Saturday morning. I got up and I'm like, this is a truly divine inspired idea. And so I'm so excited to be sharing it with you. And thank you for being here. Let me know where you're from in the comments, what you're up to. And we're going to go from there. Right. All right. So the first thing I like to do in every webinar is just make sure that you are in the right place. So this training is for you if you're a coach, a healer, an author, an entrepreneur who has a greater purpose and message to share with the world. This is for you if you're struggling to get traction in creating your life and business dreams. This is for you if you're absolutely done with trying to be someone else and following cookie cutter formulas. This is also for you if you're looking to find out what's really happening with success and what it really takes, because it's definitely not about formulas and tactics and strategies. This is not for you if you don't believe in a greater power. This is something I added this morning because everything that I'm doing in this training, in this webinar, everything that I bring to the table is about helping you reconnect with your spiritual connection. So is this for you? Let me know in the comments. How is that? Okay. And Rhonda is in California. Okay, I know Rhonda. She's my client. All right. Rhonda's laughing. She's like, I had somebody else in mind when I saw your name, Rhonda. I'm sorry. Okay, so in the next 60 minutes, we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes most entrepreneurs make that keep their life and business dreams out of reach, even when they are working their butts off. We're going to talk about how to break free of resistance, limiting beliefs, and patterns that keep your dreams away and no longer serve you, so that you can stop the self-sabotage today. And you guys know what I'm talking about, self-sabotage. What's your favorite way of self-sabotaging? Katie, Rhonda, let me know in the comments. For me, my favorite way of self-sabotaging is doing as much as I can, getting to the wall, and then just dropping everything and not doing anything moving forward. What's your favorite way of self-sabotage? Let me know in the comments. And don't be shy. Everybody self-sabotages. Okay, we're also going to be talking about why you need to become the woman you need to be to create the life and business you truly love, which is exciting. Woohoo! Okay, so my promise to you is that by the end of this 60 minutes, you're going to have a step-by-step strategy to step into your power and get on the fast track to success, all while standing in your truth and living on purpose. And that can look very different for everyone, right? Rhonda says it sounds like me, and Katie says having too many things to do at the time and not focusing on any one thing. Yep, creating overwhelm. Woohoo! That's not my area. That's not my favorite way, but I know a lot of people struggle with that. So all of that can keep you on the slow track, and what we want to do today is change the track that you're running on and get you on the fast track, and that's really ultimately my promise to you. On this webinar, there's nothing for sale, but I do have an ethical bribe if you stay until the end. You're going to be able to download a special healing. I call it Tuning into Success. And it's a 23-minute healing to really help you release the resistance and allow you to embody the success that you need to embody in order to allow the opportunities and attract what you desire into your life, whatever that success is for you. You're going to love it, so make sure that you stick around until the end. But I am also going to let you know how we can go deeper into this work so that we can take the concepts that we're applying today and help you move forward. Okay, before I get into all of that, I just want to check in with you and see where you're at. First thing I would like to know is, do you ever feel like you pretend to be someone you're not in order to share your message and live your purpose? Lift your hand or comment in the comments if you do, if that sounds familiar. Okay, Rhonda's raising her hand. Woohoo, Rhonda. All right. Have you ever been so overwhelmed by the online world, cookie cutter solutions, and disappointment disappointing experiences that you've stopped yourself from trusting your intuition? Yeah. All right, lift your hand. Rhonda's there. Okay. And do you ever feel like you're just not good enough to live up to your purpose? Maybe you should just quit, right? Have you ever been there? Ever thought of that? Right? It wouldn't be so much easier to have a job, wouldn't it? All right, and 2 people lift their hand. Oh, yay! Hello, whoever else just came on. Keep going. All right, do you ever compare yourself to other people who are making it while being jealous and ashamed that you haven't made the progress you wanted on your path to success? I'm going to lift my hand here. I've done that, right? Do you ever feel like you're running on the exhaustion and burnout track instead of the track to success? Go ahead and lift your hand if that's the case. All right, a couple of people raised their hand. Beautiful. Hello, Eva. All right, maybe it feels like a little bit of a hamster wheel. And ultimately, do you ever think that you have to make it before you actually start to let yourself believe that this dream of yours is actually possible, right? And it's okay to lift your hand here, right? Because I hoped for a long time, but I actually didn't believe for a long time. And so we want to change that state. And a lot of people think right now that the problem is that you don't believe. The problem is that you're running on the wrong track. But none of that is actually the problem here. The real problem is that you're making some of the basic fundamental mistakes that are keeping you on the slow track to success instead of allowing you to be on the fast track where more opportunities come to you. And today, what we're really talking about is helping you stop making those fundamental mistakes. And once you stop making them, you'll stop pretending to be someone you're not, and you'll start to show up as you with unbreakable confidence. Who would like that? Let me know. Raise your hand. Woohoo! All right. Rhonda, raise your hand. Awesome. Eva, raise your hand. Everybody lifted their hand. Beautiful. All right. You'll also stop downplaying your gifts and start trusting your divine guidance and acting on it from a place of confidence. Who would like to do that? Who would like to know what it feels like to trust their divine guidance and how to act on it? Yep, people are lifting their hands. Beautiful. You'll have ditched the doubt that you're not good enough and replaced it with a sense of faith and inner knowing that you are. That's what happens when you stop making those mistakes. Wouldn't that be great? Awesome. And once you stop making those mistakes, you'll watch other people be successful while truly being happy for them without any resentment. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, absolutely. All right, and you'll start to attract an array of experiences and opportunities that bring you closer to your goal. And this is kind of like doors opening, right? And the universe is aligning to show you the path, and all of a sudden you're like running through that fast track. And it's one experience after the other bringing you closer to your goal. Okay, you'll get up in the morning with an inner knowing that success is inevitable and that you are being divinely guided. How nice would that be? Is that something that you want, to get up in the morning and know that success is within your reach, even if you don't know how or when? Lift your hand if you do, right? Okay, so before we get into all the good stuff, I just want to take a moment and introduce myself in case you don't know me. That's me. That's a really beautiful picture. I love it. I took it a few months ago. My name is Natalie Guerin. I am from Montreal, Canada. I am an energy healer, an intuitive coach, author, speaker. I'm a certificate of science in theta healing. What that means is that I'm fairly weird. But really, ultimately, I'm here to help you find your voice and confidence so that you can live your purpose and really create a life and business that you love. And ultimately, I'm all about teaching you how to remember your spiritual connection, how to remember how to use it, how to step into your own greatness and allow that to come through you. I am not technically here to make you money, right? I am here to help you step into your greatness. And when you do that, money will come. But it's not just about the money. It's about fulfillment. It's about relationships. It's about everything that you desire. I'm here to help you get on the fast track. Something about me, I've been manifesting impossible dreams by most standards my entire life. When I was 8 years old, I decided that I was going to downhill ski. My family didn't ski. We didn't live near a ski hill, and I had no idea. All my dad told me was that it cost a lot of pennies, so save your pennies. And I did that for 4 years, and I ended up skiing. I've also traveled around the world. I've been to 40 countries so far in my life. I've written a book. And for me, I don't believe that anything is impossible. If you have a dream, it's meant to be lived, but you have to be the one to choose it. I'm also the author of the upcoming book called Goddess Rising, 7 Steps to Achieving Unstoppable Confidence as an Entrepreneur. It's a handbook for success. I am so excited about that book. It's something that I've been working on this year, and it's going to be out in 2019. Okay, so why am I talking about the 5 mistakes, and where do they come from? So as an intuitive coach, as a healer, it's one of the things that I do is connect to the energy of creation. And when I tuned into the energy on Saturday, I was shown these 5 mistakes. And I realized that these are all mistakes that my clients are making. These are all things that I work through with my clients, that I've been through, and that I want to share them with you, and how to overcome them, how to stop making them, and what you should do instead so that you can get on the fast track to success. Does that sound interesting to you? Do you want to know more? Let me know in the comments. All right. Okay. Katie says, I lost you and had to rejoin the group. I missed some stuff. Dang. That's okay. There's going to be a replay at the end. Okay, beautiful. And you guys are feel free to ask questions, lift your hand, participate. The more participation you have, the easier it is to move forward. All right, so let's dive in. Mistake number 1, holding on to doubt for dear life. You know, this is almost like you're on the edge of a cliff. You're about to live your dream, but you're on that edge and you're like, I have to jump, but you're not jumping, right? You're like, it's there. I know I can do this. I know I'll be supported, but, you know, I might fall. And you choose to focus on the fear of falling. You choose to focus on the doubt rather than the faith that things are going to work out and that you're going to be able to fly. I want you to know that you're able to fly, right? Not like, I don't want you to jump off a cliff or anything like that's not what I want you to do, but I want you to know that you have that ability within yourself. And by the way, no amount of positive thinking will overcome self-doubt if you don't have overwhelming confidence that your dream is possible for you. And you know, when you stand on that edge of the cliff and you know, but you refuse to believe it, that's you saying it's not possible. And the problem is very simple. You're sending out a vibration into the universe that says it's not possible. What do you think happens? The universe returns it right back. You know, I was talking to someone the other day whose grandfather is 97 years old, and he eats a pound of bacon every single day, and he's totally healthy, right? It always boils down to belief system. He believes it's a good thing for him, right? And if you don't have faith in your dream, if you don't have faith in yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, then that's what you're sending out into the universe, and you can't succeed. You're going to stay stuck on that edge for a really long time, and that's when you're on the wrong track to success. And you have to know this, right? Self-doubt is really sneaky, right? I didn't think I had a self-doubt issue. I thought I had lots of self-esteem. And then I went into my business, and oh my dear God, right? I realized I didn't have a boss anymore to tell me I was doing a good job. I realized that my self-esteem was all based on my results. And when the results fluctuated, my self-esteem fluctuated. On the good days, I would feel awesome. On the bad days, I would feel, ugh. Have you guys ever felt that, right? And really, ultimately, it's about turning that around and finding that confidence that comes from within. And I'll never forget the day that I found it. It all started with a healing, and I went to see a guy named David Neagle in Arizona. And he asked me a question. He said, what happened to you? And I answered, well, I wasn't loved. And I could feel my whole life and the undercurrent of my life being I wasn't loved. So that night I did a healing, and I downloaded and this part of me that I had forgotten, which is part of me that I was loved. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's okay to believe in me. Being confident is and believing in my truth and believing in my path and divine guidance is an act of self-love. And I realized that confidence is something that comes from within. It's not, confidence doesn't come from the outside world. It doesn't come from doing. And confidence is something that you choose at any point in time. Now, not having confidence, right? Especially in business, you're going to repel your ideal clients, and you're going to attract clients that are less than ideal for you, right? And by the way, the clients that I have truly loved, the clients that I have had the greatest impact, it's because I really had the confidence when I worked with them and I enrolled them into my programs. I was like, these are the right clients. And when I was feeling self-doubt, I attracted clients that were filled with self-doubt, that weren't sure if they wanted to work with me. They're actually kind of difficult clients to have, and they limit the amount of impact that I'm here to make in the world, right? Do you guys know what I mean? Let me know in the comments, right? And also, people want people that are in true alignment. They want that thing, that mojo that you have when you're in authentic confidence, when you're standing in your power. And when you have that, your tribe's going to come to you. And they're not going to necessarily buy what you're giving to them. They're going to buy because they want to be you, or they are you. They're inspired by you. And you become inspiring by standing in your power and standing in your confidence, right? And you can do that right now. You don't have to do anything. It is a choice. Okay. And also, you know, when you don't have a lot of self-confidence, what will end up happening is you'll spend a lot of money on coaches and training telling you what to do just so that you can get your return on investment, right? And that can be really expensive, because when you finish working with them and you don't believe in yourself, you're screwed, because the energy that supported you, which was theirs, is no longer available to you. And here's the truth, and this is something that came from a friend of mine who passed away, and he said, if you don't have faith, it's not because you don't have faith, it's because you're not looking at the faith ball. And it's almost like you have this bowl of gums that you're accumulating throughout your whole life, and your confidence and your knowing is always there. But when you switch over to the edge of the cliff and you're looking over and you're looking at all the reasons why you should be scared, that's why you're scared. Not because the faith isn't there, not because the universe isn't going to support you, not because your dream isn't there. So it's a question of, how do you bring your focus and your vibration into a place of confidence? How do you allow it to come through you? Really, this is an oversimplification, really simple diagram here, but you ultimately just want to lower the doubt and raise the confidence. And the more you do that, the more in alignment you become, the better it feels, the happier you are, the more expansive you are. And by the way, you're going to discover something. Every time that you're in alignment, you're in expansion, and things are pretty good, right? Doesn't mean you don't have any problems, but things are pretty good. And when we tune your vibration to that, you're sending it out into the universe, and the laws of the universe have to send it back. Now, most people will try to tune their vibration in different ways, right? Maybe you'll look into the mirror and say, you've got this, right? And you'll like repeat it over and over again, or maybe you'll put up sticky notes, right? I am confident, I am proud, right? And that doesn't work, because if you don't really believe it, what's really important is the feelings inside of you. And so many people are afraid to actually show their feelings. They're so afraid to tell anybody, I have a negative thought. But thinking positive doesn't work if your vibration is saying, I don't believe in myself. And it's okay. That's where you are. It doesn't mean that's where you're always going to be. But you do need to change it if you want to get onto the fast track to success. Playing as if when you don't believe doesn't work either. You know, one of the biggest things, the biggest mistakes that I've made as an entrepreneur is charging $5,000 packages when I didn't feel worthy, I didn't feel confident about it, and I was doing it just because my coaches just wanted me to do it. And I didn't believe, but I was playing as if. I almost killed my business in the process. Have you guys ever done something from a place of doubt and tried to convince yourself that it wasn't true, right? And the other thing that doesn't work is to beat yourself up for doubting yourself. And it doesn't work to go, oh, I have a doubt, and then to go cancel, delete. Well, it works once in a while, but if you're doing it consistently throughout the day, that's a big sign that there's something going on and deeper in your vibration, and that needs to be cleared. And the right way to tune your vibration, right? And here's what I mean by that, right? I want you to imagine a beautiful, bright, white light coming down from the ethers, and it's going to go down into your heart, all right? And we're going to let the energy settle, And that beautiful bright white light is going to go down into your hands, into your feet. And it's unconditional love. And you're going to allow it to expand to infinity all around you. So wherever you're standing, you're all around. And you're allowing your energy to be connected to all that is. That is the energy of connection. Let me know if you feel it in the comments. And the reason I want you to experience that is because everything we're doing today is about helping you get back into alignment with that expansion. So who feels it? Lift your hand if you do. Okay. I know I went quickly, but that's okay. All right. Rhonda says yes. Anybody else? Katie raises her hand. Gorgeous. Awesome. So happy. All right. So that is the intention. But just getting yourself into that state is pretty easy. It's just a state. But how do you do it permanently? How do you get a more permanent fix moving forward? First, you have to realize that your dream is not only possible, it's already done. You know, when I was reading David Neagle, and he was saying, well, the law of polarity says you can't have a dream without it first existing in the universe. And I got to tell you, I was like, really? Right? Don't I have to create the money? Don't I have to make the money? That's what our brains are trained to do. And so last week I was like, okay, I'm just going to believe him. I'm going to choose to believe that my dream is already out there. And I said, I'm going to manifest $10,000 this week. And I just put it out there and I said, show me the opportunities. I was completely in alignment. I had zero resistance. And the next morning, I had an email in my inbox. Natalie, I want to work with you and really go from $1 million to $5 million business. I ended up with a $20,000 sale that week. And I realized that the law of polarity is true. Every dream that you have already exists out in the universe. It's a question of whether you're not you're in the right vibration. All right. So it's the challenge is about learning this feeling of overwhelming confidence, right? While being detached from the outcome. Now, so many people have this wrong, right? Like they think that being detached from the outcome is stop caring that you want clients, stop caring that you want money. Stop doing that. That is not what being detached from the outcome means. Being detached from the outcome is that the process, the how, the systems that you're using, you're okay with, and you're trusting that whatever that they're the right ones for you, that they're your path, but that your results may or may not come from that. Maybe your systems that you're implementing are just a ways to open up more opportunities and more doors. And if you can start to look at that in that perspective and find that overwhelming confidence and trust in your ability to receive divine guidance and follow it, the easier the path will be. And really, if you trust in that and have the overwhelming confidence that this is real for you, you will have that sense of confidence that comes through you. Now, there's also a few things that you need to do, right? You need to clear the resistance to having overwhelming confidence, right? You're going to need to clear the resistance to feeling not good enough, right? You're going to need to walk up into that vibration. And when you release the resistance and you go to that root cause, magic happens, right? Who likes magic? I do. All right. We also want to manage your mindset, and you want to tap into inspired action and repeat. Now, I'm going to just lay that out here. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but you do really need to also clear your energy, manage your mindset, tap into inspired action, and repeat. It is a process. Sometimes people get stuck and they just clear their energy and nothing happens. Well, you didn't take any action. When I work with people, it's always those three things in combination on a repeat cycle, and that's why I work with my clients for 3 to 6 months. All right, we have a mindset hack, right? You can use EFT tapping, you can Google it, you can look it up to release the doubt and invoke a feeling of confidence. Can you, yeah, you can just close the door. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I just had a quick interruption. So what we're doing is, ultimately you can get into that state. And even if you think right now and you just go, all right, I am in confidence, I am here, and you just breathe in and you allow yourself to be here in this moment, would you guys like to know what it feels like to have overwhelming confidence? And if you do, go ahead and say yes. Creator of all that is, make that happen. And can we send you the tone and the vibration of confidence? Beautiful. Excellent. Cool. All right, who feels that? Let me know. Raise your hand if you liked it, if you received it. Let me know in the comments. All right, cool, awesome. Okay, so next slide. Oops, did I lose my slide? I lost my slide. Okay, beautiful. So here's what's possible. Jen is a happiness coach, and she helps women to go from breakup to breakthrough, which is really awesome. When we started working together, she had huge amounts of doubt that she would ever be successful in business. She wanted to really make a big difference in the world, but she didn't really feel confident to ask for the sale. And so she was really downplaying herself. When we released the doubt and helped her step into her power and find her confidence, she ended up charging 4 times for her premium offers. Without changing the offer, which is absolutely amazing, which is cool. Was that something that you want? And by the way, this isn't always about the money. I wanted you to show you the relationship of what happens when you step into your power and you absolutely allow yourself to experience your greatness, and you really step into who you truly are and start asking for what you want. And in order to do that, you need to have the confidence. So tell me, would you like to have more confidence? Go ahead and let me know in the comments, right? Rhonda raises her hand. Anyone else, right? Is Rhonda the only one? Okay, 2 people raise their hand. Awesome. Okay, great. Eva says, yes, awesome. I don't think I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Eva, so please forgive me. Okay, and we're going to keep going here. All right, so one of the things that I do is talk to God, and I channel messages. So when I did this training, I asked God what you needed to know, and this is what I was shown. I was shown that you're standing at a crossroad, and on one side and on the other, you have a sign that says doubt. The other one says confidence, right? And then I ask God what you need to know, and I hear it's up to you, and you get to choose. So my question to you, and you might want to write this down, right? And if somebody could just put it down in the comments, that would be great. What if you just decided to believe in yourself today? What would happen? Right? And if somebody could write it down in the comments, I would really appreciate that, because I think it's a really powerful question. Okay, awesome. Sweet. Okay, so that is it for mistake number 1. Are you guys ready for mistake number 2? Lift your hand if you are. Woo, awesome, right? Mistake number 2, all right, is trying to get it all perfect before taking action, otherwise known as perfectionism. You're lining up all the ducks in a row. You're trying to make sure that your website is perfect before you actually go out and invite a client into a sale. Who's done that? I'm going to lift my hand. I came across somebody yesterday who was doing that. But here's the truth. No amount of perfectionism will stop you from getting it wrong, but trying to do slow will slow you down, and it will actually stop you from living your purpose. It just doesn't work. That's pretty much it, right? It sucks, right? And here's what you need to know about perfectionism. Perfectionism is just a symptom that masks a deeper underlying fear, and perfectionism is the result of you caring about what other people think. Now, you know, this is really funny, right? The first thing I see in you guys' energy fields, like, I don't care about what other people think. Really? Do you care about what your family thinks? Are you showing up fully and completely? Are you hiding from the world? Are you wearing the clothes that you want? Are you fixing your hair? Are you adapting to society because you want to be you? Or are you trying to be perfect so other people will like you? And here's the truth. Most people want other people to like them, and we do everything to try and control other people. Lift your hand if that's already there. And by the way, I am lifting my hand. I am super proud of this, because once you're aware, you can change it. All right, beautiful. And perfectionism can also show up as indecision. And perfectionism can also be expressed through having everything just right before you take the next step, lining up your ducks. It's kind of a sneaky thing, right? Perfectionism will cause you to delay getting clients. It will cause you to delay getting yourself out there. It'll cause you to delay living your purpose, sharing your message. And really, it's just because you're afraid, right? You're afraid of what other people are going to think, right? And it's also going to sap your time, right? Doing things that you don't really want to do, right? Like building websites, like building Facebook groups, or just doing all the things that you should be doing. And the reality is there's nothing you should be doing other than what your divine guidance is telling you to do and that you're like to do, right? There's things that you're probably not going to be very happy to do. Maybe you don't like paperwork, right? You don't like to do billing. You're going to accept those things, but ultimately they're not things that are completely out of alignment with you. You can find some peace with them. But too often we're trying to be perfect. We're trying to look the part. We're trying to pretend that we're someone we're not in order to get the clients that we want. And by the way, releasing that is total freedom. And every time you put off the inevitable, you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving your purpose out there. It sucks. Who wants that? Lift your hand if you don't want that, right? Okay. And it'll also cause you your sanity, right? Because you're standing on that edge of the cliff and now you're trying to be perfect and you're trying to figure out exactly how to build the right plan to go over that edge, right? But it's absolutely impossible. You can't actually get to the other side, right? So really, what's the other side of perfectionism? Perfectionism is really allowing. And again, allowing is that sense of vibration and total alignment. And what we want to do here is shift your vibration from less perfectionism to more flow. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we're not doing it the wrong way, right? You don't want to beat yourself up when things don't go according to plan. You got to go with the flow. You got to allow yourself to go, it's okay to make a mistake. And the more you can do that, the more you can explore. You know, when you look at a little kid, and I hear this example like 1,000 times a month or a year, okay, that's extreme, and a little kid will walk and they'll fall, right? The parent doesn't come in the room and go, ha, 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 right? Nobody's doing that to that little kid. They're like, okay, get up, try again, go, right? And that's the kind of mindset that you need to have to support you as you go through it, because you will make mistakes, even when you do have the perfect plan. Getting stuck in indecision is another place that doesn't work, right? Okay, I'm gonna make the right decision. In the corporate world, we called that analysis paralysis, and it was always something that we wanted to shoot them, right? We wanted to shoot people because it's like, who does that, right? And it slows everything down. And the reality is there's a balance between finding that decision, making a decision, moving forward, and then fixing forward, which is really what we're talking about here: learning, fixing, moving forward. And when you're doing that, you are on the fast track to success. And also, and this happens a lot with energy healers, coaches that are in mindset, focusing on the problem 150% of the time. It's really easy to get stuck on the problem. And when you're focused on the problem, you can't be in the energy of the solution. And procrastination, perfectionism will show up, and it doesn't work because you can't receive a solution. It's like being in the world on the edge of that cliff and not realizing that you have wings on your back. Right? You have to shift your perspective. You have to shift your vibration in order to realize that you have everything that you need to jump off that cliff. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments. All right, so how do you tune your vibration? Again, it's absolutely the same thing. You want to release the obligation to be perfect. Give yourself permission to fail. Take a breath. It's okay. I'm going to fail. It's exciting. Isn't it fun? Woohoo! But I'm also going to succeed. Isn't that great? Okay, and so what we want to do is walk yourself from perfectionism to allowing / flow. I didn't know what to call that vibration, but it's really a high vibration where you're allowing source energy to come through you and allow that energy to come and for you to be expressed in the world. It's almost like when you're in perfectionism, you're blocking the flow, and we're really just allowing the flow of energy to come through you. Right? In order to do that, you're going to need to clear the fears of playing full out, right? And you're going to need to give up control and be open to receiving, right? And it's really about letting go of what other people think and just trusting yourself and going with it and seeing where the cards land. Scary, but it's also where freedom comes. Who would like to be able to do that? Raise your hand if you would like to have that kind of freedom, to just be yourself, right? No matter what. All right, everybody lifts their hand, myself included. Yes, awesome. So we have a quick mindset hack here. Start noticing where you're trying to be perfect and what's the fear. Question the fear. Is it true? And even if it was true, what would you rather have, right? Being stuck because of the fear, or have the fear happen? What do you want to choose? And again, it's always back to choice. Okay, and so before I go on to the next mistake, here's a message from God. So when I asked God what you need to know about perfectionism, I saw you standing in a row of duckies, right? And all of a sudden they get randomly shuffled and put back into that row. And then I heard, just go. No line is perfect. And that's really what God wants you to know. So my question to you is, where have you been hiding behind perfectionism? If anywhere, right? Somebody wants to write that question down in the comments, out in the chat box. I would love to see it. Okay, beautiful. If you want to answer it in the chat box, that'd be great too. All right, so let's go on to mistake number 3. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your help here. Okay, my book. Rhonda's like, yep. Okay, absolutely. And so the question is, do you want to keep procrastinating, or do you want to move forward? Woohoo, it's really up to you. Okay, so mistake number 3, not flipping the switch. And here's what I mean by that, right? A lot of people don't know what they want, and even fewer people have actually decided to go after what they want. And knowing what you want doesn't do any good for you unless you decided to make it happen no matter what. And here's the truth. Living your purpose, walking your path, living your life, sharing your message, it's hard, right? Because it's not standard. You're developing that muscle. You want to do it. And if you're not committed to it, you're just trying. And there is no try. You can only do or do not. And it's really up to you. And at the end of the day, flipping the switch means making a decision with absolute clarity that something is going to happen. Here's a good example of that. When I was, at one point in time in my life, I decided to write a book. I was sitting on my couch, and I'm dyslexic. I have a degree in mathematics and computer science. I am not a writer. But I was like, yeah, I really kind of want to write a book. And I said that for years. And one day, I was going through a class, a university class, learning how to write essays, and I realized that I really like writing when I have something allowing to come through me, and I have a message to share. And all of a sudden, I was like, I'm writing this book. And the switch was made. I didn't know how to write it. I didn't know when it was going to happen. I knew that I had a lot of stuff to learn, and it took 2 years and $6,000, and I published my first book. It's called The Promise, by the way. Without that switch, nothing happens. And not making the switch is usually due to this feeling, not flipping the switch, or even just being 3/4. It's usually about fear, right? And the belief system that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you. I have to prove myself before I can actually show there. Or maybe you need permission from someone else. You know, I spent $35,000 on my first business coach to show me that, to tell me that I had permission to go onto Facebook and actually be myself, right? That's crazy. Right? That's something that can come through you. And yes, I've made lots of mistakes. Who else has made lots of mistakes in their life and their business? And I consider them opportunities to grow, right? Everybody lifts their hand. And without flipping the switch, it's like being in a car driven by the universe where you have no control in the destination. And reality is that you are in the driver's seat. Whether or not you give your power to the universe or to everyone else, it's really up to you. And you get to choose to get into the driver's seat, decide what you want, where you want to go, and you start going there. And when you flip the switch, the path reveals itself. Just like when I wrote my book. I didn't know how to make that happen, but I was like, okay, what's the next step? When I taught theta healing for the first year, and I was like, okay, I need $25,000. I was like, okay, I'm going to teach theta healing. I'm going to make $25,000. I'm going to go get trained. I had no idea how to get clients. All I knew, I was like, okay, I'm going to post here, I'm going to post there. Worst marketing ever. And before I knew it, I had 40-some students. So it is possible. And the path reveals itself when you flip the switch. But if you stay in try mode, you're going to get opportunities and ideas that match that try, right? Do you really want it? Do you not want it? And they're going to keep you on that edge without ever going over. So this is really about making that choice and flipping the switch and jumping over the edge and saying, I'm going to let myself fly. Do you want to fly? That's ultimately the question. Are you ready for that? All right, so can you guys give me an example of somewhere in your life where you have flipped the switch. I'm going to give you a couple. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'm going to give you a couple, right? I already talked to you about my book. The day that I decided to quit my job and travel around the world, I was sitting with my boss and we were having coffee, and I told him about this dream, and he's like, just go do it. And I'm like, I can't do that. And he's like, go do it. And so I was like, okay. And in that moment, I felt it in every part of my being. That decision was clear. And with that clarity came, okay, what do I do next? Where do I go? What do I need? And all of those things started to reveal themselves. All right, Katie says, something has just clicked in me in the last few weeks, and I'm working on positivity for me and others. Absolutely. Great for you, right? Okay, excellent. Okay, beautiful. So, and also for me, I'm going to put this one down because it's not always about creating impossible dreams, right? It's also about making decisions to try to be myself and to stop trying to be someone else. That's a complete mindset decision. But when I flipped it, switched on that, my business, my life got easier. It's not always a piece of cake, but it's so much easier. And I'll never forget that. I made that decision in December of last year, and it's the best decision I made for myself. And it basically went like, if my business is going to work, it's going to work as me. No more trying to be someone else. I flipped the switch. It was just no longer an option. Okay, makes sense, guys? All right, so what happens when the switch is not set to on, right? Will cause you a lot of back and forth, right? You'll go into circles and you'll be wondering why things are not working. The universe will send you all sorts of opportunities that don't work. You'll zap your time, it'll cost you money and create a lot of frustration, and it'll keep you most probably in a lot of procrastination and avoiding the things that you really need to do to progress on your path. Right? Maybe you'll get stuck in those patterns of, oh, I want to watch Netflix rather than doing the hard things. And it's a huge block to getting on the fast track. And it'll keep you in the struggle and the hustle. So who wants to flip their switch to on? Right? Let me know in the comments or raise your hand. All right. And basically, in order to do that, you need to lower the confusion and increase the clarity and commitment. I call it coffee and donuts. Right? So here's what doesn't work to do that, right? Waiting for proof to make a decision, right? Ultimately, that's a choice, right? A lot of times I see it in business. I'll believe that it's possible to clients when I actually do. I believe that it's possible to get paid $6,000, $10,000, or $20,000 when it actually happens. And ultimately, you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're in the wrong vibration. You need to believe right now, you need to flip the switch that it's already done. Right? And ultimately, people are also flipping the switch in a way that's like, I'll let the universe decide whatever God wants me. You're in the driver's seat. Get in the driver's seat, decide what you want, and go what you want. When you do that, the universe will support you. And the universe wants you to have what you want. Right? And also doing what others say you should be doing. Right? That's like, that'll, you know, because everybody else is doing it, you're going to do it, right? We've all done that. We've all been there. That's not clarity. That's just following like a lemming, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. So in order to flip the switch, it's really about getting the absolute clarity. And absolute clarity is about finding that place within yourself that is a place of knowing what you want, why you want it, and having a firm decision that you're going to go after it. But in order to do that, you need to also release the resistance to want what you want and to receiving what you want, right? So too often I used to hear people say, I want $10,000 months, right? Like it's the big thing. But when you really sit down and think about it, what does that mean? And where are your, what fears does that bring up for you? There's going to be resistance. And so you need to let that resistance go and bring up your commitment and get into alignment. And the same thing that we did before, where we changed the vibration, we got you back into a place of alignment. And so what we need to do is to clear your fears of being fully committed on 1,000%. And clear your fears of what other people are going to think, who you're going to be, what you have to do, and to bring you back into alignment. And it's different for everyone, but it's kind of fun, right? And a quick mindset hack, you know, start by figuring out what it is that you want. What is it that I truly want? Am I fully committed? And if not, why not? Why am I resisting? Start becoming aware, because when you are aware, you can start to shift it. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments or raise your hand. Okay, and before we go on to the next mistake, let's talk about what God wants you to know. Thank you, Rhonda. I love your participation. All right, so when I connected with your energy and I asked God what you needed to know, I saw you standing in front of a bow and arrow, like you're on one end and there's a bullseye on the other side, and you're shooting arrows and they're going all over the place. And when I asked God what you need to know, I heard that's what happens when you don't commit to the center of the bullseye. You're just trying, right? And that's really the difference. And if you just keep trying and shooting anywhere, well, your results are going to be the same way, right? So my question to you is, where have you not flipped the switch? Where do you need to flip the switch, and on what particular topic? Let me know in the comments, guys. And this isn't for me, this is for you, right? I want you to move forward and make that decision today that you're no longer willing to accept that something is kind of happening. You're getting in the driver's seat and you're going to figure out what to do to make it happen, no matter how long it takes, right? Okay, and we have somebody who put a question in the Q&A. Okay, it's okay, Julie. There'll be a replay. All right. Okay, next, we're going to keep going. All right, so what have we done so far? Up to this point, we know that in order to be on the fast track to success, you need to ditch the doubt and perfectionism, and you need to flip the switch. It's pretty simple. Now let's look at 2 more mistakes you need to stop making in order to make sure that you don't get stuck behind the wall of resistance, right? Mistake number 4, and this is really interesting, right? We all know that success is 80% mindset, 20% action, but there is this thing outside, in the outside world, that when you have a formula, if you follow it, it'll work for you. Following cookie cutter formulas, guess what? It doesn't work, right? And here's the truth. Every strategy and tactic and formula works for someone some of the time, but not all the time. The only thing that works for you is for you to follow your divine guidance and timing. And ultimately, when you're doing that, it's like being a lemming. If you know anything about lemmings, they jump. If the first one jumps off the cliff, the other ones will follow. They're just not thinking. And that's not why you're here. That's not you standing in your power. That's you getting into the other seat. And here, I get it, right? And I've done it. I've spent a lot of money on learning formulas and tactics and strategies and solutions, because I thought that was the way to make $1 million, right? But it's not, because it's about bringing yourself back into your path and your truth. And here's what you need to know. Results depend on your vibration, not your actions, right? And you can follow someone else's truth, someone else's path, but if it feels icky to you, if it feels out of alignment, if it's not in alignment with your message, if your message isn't clear, it's not going to work. And that's the truth, right? And God did not put you here to be someone else. God put you here to be you, right? So don't stop copying everybody else. Doesn't mean that you don't learn from them. It means that you integrate and you take what works for you and you allow the rest to fall away, right? And it doesn't also mean that you don't try anything. Sometimes you have to try things to see if it's really right for you or not, right? As soon as you follow a formula in order to get clients, you step out of your power and into control. And when you're in control, you're not receiving anything. And I'm going to say that again. When you're in control, you're not open to receiving. You can't receive divine guidance. You're controlling. You're closed up. And if you take your body right now and you open it up and you allow yourself to open up and you breathe, now you're open to receiving, right? And ultimately, there's only one path to success, yours. And you have to access your divine guidance. You have to be open to receiving, and you have to trust that your intuition is going to come and show you the way. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Okay, great. So hot tips for success. You have divine guidance system, learn how to use it. Honestly, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you how to do that and to get out of your own way. Only you can know your divine guidance system, right? Nobody else can access it. I can't tell you what your divine guidance system is. I can connect to your energy. I can tell you what's going on. I can tell you where you have resistance, what you should do next. But at the end of the day, it's about you taking back your power, listening to your intuition, allowing God to show you the way, and trusting your path, no matter what that is. And sometimes it's going to be messy. Sometimes it's going to be confusing. Like, what am I supposed to do? So how do you flip the switch? Oops, It's not supposed to be the switch here. How do you go from this place of following to more being, right? You basically want to do less doing and following and more being. It's about becoming the woman that you need to be, right? And ultimately, it's not about choosing tactics and strategies that are in alignment with you, right? It's not about doing what everybody else is doing. That doesn't work. It's not about waiting for alignment before taking action. I have seen this so many times in the spiritual world. It drives me absolutely crazy. Like, oh, I'm going to have to get in alignment. And somebody said it right the other day. You have to be in alignment, but most people don't know that they are. So you do have to do the work. You do have to take action. You do have to follow through. You do have to jump. And you have to assume that you're going to be out of alignment, and your job is to bring yourself back. And a really simple trick is just that energetic connection that we did earlier, right? And what doesn't work is to do what other people are telling you to do just to be successful, right? At the end of the day, you have to do something that feels good within you. And that could be charging what you're worth. It could be having a car. It could be buying a bigger house because you think everybody else has one and you should have one, right? That's just you being a lemming. What do you want, and what does your divine guidance say, and are you ready to follow that? All right, so how do you go from doing to being, right? And ultimately, this is about remembering your divine connection. You want to learn how to use it and start trusting it to walk your own path. And it is a muscle that you're going to have to develop, right? And basically, we want to release the confusion to full-on commitment. And you want to walk yourself from doing into being, right? Why do you want it? Who are you going to be when you're in full alignment with who you are and you're in your true power? You also have to clear your fears of having a divine connection. Most people are afraid of receiving guidance and following through and trusting yourself before you trust other people. So here's a quick mindset hack. You can use the mantra, I am receiving more and more intuitive guidance on a daily basis. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments or lift your hand. So here's what God wants you to know before we go on to the last mistake. I see you standing in front of a blackboard and you're staring at a formula like x plus y is equal to z, and you're hopeful that that's it. You're so happy that you found the perfect formula, right? That's what's going to make you $1 million. And when I ask God what you need to know, I hear the $1 million is already done, but the how isn't up to you. Look for the signs. It's pretty powerful, right? So my question to you is, what signs have you been ignoring? Good. Allow that to come through. All right, let's see what the people are saying in the chat box. Julie says, yes, wow, publishing book, yep. All of this is possible, guys. Your dreams are already done. And Rhonda is really amazing, actually. Katie says, good point. Thank you, guys, for the feedback. I really like it. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Okay. Mistake number 5 is never revealing your true self, pretending to be someone you're not. Who's done that? I've done that, right? And not on purpose, right? It was just something that started happening because I thought I should be doing something. When you start to realize how often you are being someone that you're not, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that was actually happening. It's surprising. And I realized it goes far back as when I was in kindergarten or grade 1, and I wanted the other kids to like me in school. And I changed myself so that everybody would be like that. And that didn't stop when I went to university. It didn't stop when I got a corporate job. I dressed the part, I did the part because I wanted other people to like me. And in order to walk your path, in order to do what you want, in order to change the world, it's weird. You're going to have to get comfortable being you. And most people are pretending to be something that they are not because they think they need to be, do, or have something in order to get what they want. And really, ultimately, it's to have somebody else like them. And you don't need that. You need to like yourself. It needs to come from you. The validation needs to come from inside. And so here's what you need to know. The key to being is to remove the layers that keep you from your divine essence. So there's this thing that I believe you are a spark of God, right? Like I see you as a little stone and you're a spark of God and you're divinely connected. And over time, since you were born, you've collected all of these layers, right? And it's almost like you're so covered up that you're somewhere inside. And sometimes you get to come out and play, but most of the time you're just really weighed down by all of these extra layers. And what we want to do is release the layers one at a time so that you can start to rise and shine through, right? It's kind of like you're a seed and the flower is coming up and now it's like, okay, you want to bloom. And in order to do that, we need to remove the layers. Does that feel good to you? Let me know, right? We also need to remove the shame and guilt. Those are really heavy layers, right? Like I'm doing something wrong, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, so that you can move yourself forward, right? And also, it's not about fixing the past. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about releasing what's holding you down so that you can access your natural high state vibration, so that you can express your godliness in the world. Too often what I see is people going back and trying to fix themselves, trying to understand why something happened, and it doesn't really matter. What we need to do is learn from the past and move forward, but it's not about focusing on the past. It's about moving yourself forward and looking forward. You know, we have eyes that look ahead, not back, right? We can turn our heads, we can learn from it, but we really want to keep going forward, right? And ultimately, the world needs you, not some version of you that is pretending to be someone they're not. Your purpose is to be you. It's to be happy. It's to create a life that you want. How do you want to create that? Ultimately, this is what this is about. So what we want to do here is to tune your vibration into being. And I switched the format up a little bit here because it's really about a transformation from A to Z. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that's going to happen throughout your life, right? And the first step is to remember your power, is to claim your spiritual connection. And next, we want you to reconnect with your intuition and start trusting you and the universe again. Not always so easy, right? Maybe you've been disappointed. Maybe you're mad at God, right? And if you're mad at God, you're mad at yourself because you're a spark of God, right? Maybe you're mad at yourself for not being able to get to the results that you're wanting. And your past is going to affect your present, but it doesn't have to. And when we start to release those layers, you start to step into your power and have the freedom to move yourself forward. You stop living in that box and going, okay, what now? And it's like, oh, breath, right? You also want to find breaks, patterns, roles. You have to do the mindset work, right? You can't just clear your energy. Sometimes that'll work, but you also have habits and patterns that you have that are holding you back, right? That cause you to take action or not take action. You need to break those one layer at a time, one pattern at a time. And sometimes that means catching yourself every 60 seconds, right? You think you're not good enough, catch yourself, break it. Of course I am good enough, right? Bring yourself back, right? And until you do that, and when you do that often enough, you will bring yourself back into a state of higher vibration and being in your power, right? In order to become who you are, you also need to get clear about what you want. What are your desires? You need to find your walk. I call it the soul walk. What is your path? What is your next step? Accessing your divine guidance. And then you need to take loads of inspired action, right? Those are just the basic things that you need to do. And it doesn't happen in a week or 10, right? You're going to do all of these things all the time. But it's really about allowing yourself to be more you in the world, because that's how you have an impact, right? And so here's some hot tips to be able to do this. All right, first one is that you can invest in a coach or a healer or spiritual coach to speed up your results, right? And honestly, doing this work on your own, can you do it? Yep, it will take you a really long time. It's easy for me to invest in coaching, business coaching, because there's a specific ROI, but I let that get in the way because I was hiring people that couldn't help me. At the end of the day, I needed to have those coaches and healers that actually allowed me to have that transformation, that allowed me to step into my beingness, right? And next, you want to make sure that you learn how to connect and tap into your intuitive guidance daily, because it is there and it's a practice, it's a muscle, it's something that you can do. And you want to be able to commit to do mindset work and energy healing on a daily basis. This is not negotiable. It's just something that you are. And when I say a daily basis, I mean 5 days a week. It's also okay to have a break. And energy clearing for me is something you go in, you clear, and you get out. You don't get stuck in the problems. Does that make sense? You guys like these tips? Let me know in the comments. Right. Katie says, I agree 100%. Rhonda raises her hand. Beautiful. All right. Let me know how it's going, guys. Okay. Next slide. All right. We're almost done. Woohoo. Okay. All right. So here's an example of someone who stepped into her power and really claimed her beingness. When we started working together, she was already charging premium offers, but her self-doubt, her anxiety was so high that she wasn't actually selling anything. And this was before I started Goddess Rising. This was before I started my real work in the world. And we worked together and we helped her step into her power, to remember her greatness, to remember her worth. And we started to remove all of those layers. And what happened next was shocking. She quadrupled her rates, and within 6 months, she had a retreat in Bali. And I thought it was absolutely crazy. How can someone do a retreat in Bali when you only have a list of 100 people? She decided she wanted to do it, and she flipped the switch, and she did it. That is what's possible when you decide to step into your power and invoke it, right? What would happen if you truly stepped into your power today? Right? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know, right? So when I ask God what you need to know, right, I see a diamond that is all stored up in a stone, and you're there with a chisel and you're digging up the diamond, right? And what I'm asking, when I ask God what you need to know, I heard, you are the diamond. All right, you just have to let it out to play. And I'm also shown in this moment as I'm doing this reading that you don't have to use a chisel. You just have to tell the black stuff to go away. It's all an illusion anyways. And you can just let it go. You don't have to chisel at it. You can just let yourself be free. So my question to you is, what layer do you need to let go of in order to allow more of your vibration to come through, more of your greatness? That's a really powerful question. Man, I can just go with these questions today. All right. So we've just covered the 5 mistakes that most entrepreneurs make that keep their dreams out of reach, right? We've pulled back the curtain. Let me know if that was useful for you guys in the comments. All right, so today I promised to show you the 5 mistakes entrepreneurs make that keep their life and business dreams out of reach, even when they are working their butts off and doing what other people are telling them to do. We talked about how to break free of the resistance, limiting beliefs, and patterns that keep your dreams at bay, right? And we talked about how to release them so that you can stop the self-sabotage today. We talked about why you need to become the woman you need to be to create the life and business you truly are. And it's about being you, right? And we talked about a step-by-step strategy to step into your power and get on the fast track to success, all while standing in your truth and living on purpose. And to get on the fast track, you need to grow your faith ball. You need to give yourself permission to fail, and you need to flip the switch to commit. And you need to forge your own path. Stop following everybody else. And you need to let your being, your inner being, take the spotlight. Pretty simple, guys, isn't it? Right? Who's ready to do that and to get on the fast track? Let me know in the comments, right? Or raise your hand, right, if you want to be on a faster track. Because most probably you're not completely on a slow track, right? Katie says yes. Rhonda says yes. Absolutely. Anyone else? Right? Eva, are you still on? Let me know, right? You guys can lift your hands. Awesome. Sweet. We're getting lots of participation here. Great. So now you have a choice. You can stay on the track that you are, or you can get onto the fast track. And here's how I can help, right? I want to invite you to join me for a free coaching call to help you get on the fast track to success. Now, it is free, but it's not for everyone, and there is a catch here. I'm going to tell you what it is in a second. We're going to figure out your vision. We're going to figure out what's holding you back, what's keeping you on the slow track, and we're going to help you figure out what you really need to do for yourself and how to apply these concepts for today to help you get on the fast track to success. Right? If there's a good match between our visions, I may invite you into one of my group programs, Goddess Rising, or my one-on-one work, right? And that's the catch, right? that may or may not happen. If there's not a good fit between our visions, that's okay. You'll go on your merry way, and maybe you'll tell someone about me. But either way, you will leave with clarity and knowing exactly what you have to do next. Who wants one? Raise your hand. Let me know, right? So it's free, but it's not for everyone, right? This is for you if you're a coach, a healer, an author, an entrepreneur with a greater purpose and a message to share with the world. If you have that calling within you and you're ready to listen to that call, it's definitely for you. You believe in a greater power, like God, universe, etc., right? If you're looking to make a quick buck or just to sell MLM products, this isn't really for you, right? Unless your MLM business is your purpose. And sometimes that can happen for oils. It can happen for like maybe your idea is to have a really big MLM business to serve women, to teach them how to create businesses. There's all kinds of different things that you can do there. And if it's not also for you, if you're looking for a cookie cutter business solution, that's not what you're going to find from me. I'm going to teach you how to reconnect with your truth and move forward from there. So if you want one, and I'm going to go ahead and like type that into the chat box, go ahead and apply, right? For the call, you can go here. There's going to be a form to apply. The form is in the process of being changed, but go ahead and like fill it out, right? And you go from there, okay? And then you'll be sent over to my calendar and we'll chat. It's pretty simple. It's pretty fun. It's painless. And now you also have a free gift. Who wants the free gift? Lift your hand if you want the free gift. So basically, it's called Tune into Success. I recorded a little bit earlier today. It is, what do you call it? It is, it's about 23 minutes long, and you can go to bit.ly. I'm going to just put it in here. I thought I was going to do, oops, no. All right, I have to check the URL, Tune Vibration to Success. And you want to do that now because I'm not going to be sending that into the email later. I'm going to be sending the link to the application, Vibration to Success, and I put it in the chat box. That should work. You guys should try it out. All right, if anybody has any questions, it's probably a really good time to do that. And also, before we sign off and we go into the Q&A portion, go ahead and make sure that you go to my website, apply, fill out the application, and join me for a call and let's chat. Eva, I can't wait to speak to you. If anybody else wants a call, I am really excited about that, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, I'm going to turn off the videos and turn off the recording. So